Hey everybody, so we're going to jump into the energy unit here, and essentially what we're talking about is thermodynamics, or thermo just means heat. And so the first concept that I want to point out to you is throughout this unit, when we refer to energy or heat or enthalpy, that those things are essentially the same. And we just kind of use them interchangeably with each other to kind of describe just energy as a whole. So the first thing that I want to review with you are two major laws of thermodynamics. And so the first law of thermodynamics basically states, and you've heard this before, that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed. This essentially means is that energy is just converted from one form to another, typically through chemical reactions. The second law basically states that heat flows from areas of high heat to areas of low heat. In sort of simple terms, essentially that just means that heat flows from hot to cold. So if I were to touch something that's really hot, then that heat would go from that hot object into my hand, which would feel cold to that thing, and so heat flows in that direction. If you open your warm house in the middle of winter, then heat from inside your house is going to flow outside. And so that's the natural flow that heat will have as it relates to the second law of thermodynamics. So, two types of energy that we're going to talk about in this unit. The first is what's referred to as potential energy. The second is kinetic. And these two laws here are essentially related to those two types of energy. When we're talking about the first law of thermodynamics and chemical reactions, we're typically talking about potential energy changes. And when we're talking about things having heat that flows from one area to another, that means that temperatures are going to change of those substances, and so that's a reference on kinetic energy changes. So that's kind of the intro for the unit. In the next video, I'm going to do a description of potential energy and do a separate video for kinetic energy so that we can kind of separate the two.